Let's talk transparently.
Oh yeah.
It's time to be just you and me on the love seat.
I love you.
It's time to be just you and me on the love seat. So, let's talk.
Hello, I am Cheryl.
And I'm Stefan.
And we are the Jameses, and welcome back to the Love Seat. This is a place where we have communication and we bring you to just wanting to be the best version of yourself for your marriage. So, again, welcome back. We have some amazing people joining us today. And if you haven't called someone and told them, you know what, you might want to check the Love Seat out, this will be a good time to do just that because I'm sure they're going to drop such nuggets that will help you be the best version of yourself. So, babe, introduce our guest today.
Well, today we have Lauren and Noah Emanuel. What a phenomenal couple. Now, what we're talking about today, our subject matter is doing life together literally. Noah and Lauren are doctors of chiropractic here in Murfreesboro. Their business name is Boro Chiropractic. So go check them out. They are absolutely
Amazing, yes.
phenomenal. They have an amazing story of how they met in school, then moved to Murfreesboro and opened a clinic together. It was shortly after their opening that I met them, and it was easy to see their energy, their desire to be more than just get you in, get you out, get paid clinic. They seemed to invest themselves in every client. They were infectious with their personalities, and they created a culture that made people want to connect. They began connecting and introducing clients to one another. Soon, every time you came in their office and visited, it was buzzing with activity and conversation.
Yes, and we added to that activity and conversation.
Yeah, especially my wife, y'all. Y'all know how she is. She always lights up every place she goes in. But then Noah finally wised up. They were working as colleagues. He finally wised up and asked Lauren to marry him.
Way to go, Noah.
Woo. They've been married for 3 years now and together, working together for 5 years. So they literally are doing life together. So here's what we want to do. Individuals become couples. They choose to share their lives together, but it is rare, very rare. They choose to work outside of the homes together. They're like, yeah, I'm married to him, but man, that's enough. That gets me far as I want to go. So Cheryl and I see this as very vital because we have been getting pulled together. We're doing ministry together. We're starting businesses together. We're doing many necks together. And so our goal today is to see what it's like and how do you do it.
Help me. Y'all help me because this is new to me, but you've been at it a few years and you all are doing it well. So I'm sure many of our listeners are just like us and saying, how do we navigate through this thing called life together at work and at home? So,
what is one word that you would use to describe how you do it and 30 seconds on why you choose that word?
Okay, I would say unfiltered is our word.
Because
That's
a good one.
Yeah, because we really like people when you say like when you come into the clinic, we create a culture. The culture's just us. Like I don't try to be somebody I'm not, and Noah doesn't either. Like we are just ridiculously us. And I think that's what creates just the buzz that you feel is that you're just as much a part of our counseling sessions some days as our actual counselors. And sometimes you're a part of just like the fun and the excitement that we feel. And sometimes you're a part of our sad days and our bum days. And like we want you to be a part of our journey just as much as you want to be a part of our journey.
Oh, that is
my
so
God.
good.
Unfiltered.
I can't top
Oh.
that. That's too good.
Hey, sometimes
That's
there's no
just
need
good.
trying to.
That's just good. But like, if I want to poke at her a little bit, I think this word is tried, tested, and very true. But it would be patience is a big one for us.
Is how you would describe us as patient?
Well, yeah, because we have to be patient
Yeah.
and working together. But like
Whether
more.
you want to or not.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
required.
Yes. Patient though to build things because we want to build big and we
Mhm.
want to build fast.
Love it.
And
And strong and on a firm foundation.
I mean, shoot, Stefan, you've walked through some of the stuff with us,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and the timing of it, of when we wanted to do things, and then when God showed us we could do things, is very different.
Mhm.
And
It's,
then
it's
even
easy to try to get ahead of his plan. isn't
Easy.
it?
yeah, and then even patient with asking Lauren to marry me and the marriage process because
Because you sure drug your feet long enough.
6
brother,
years.
Patience. That's why his word is patience.
right?
6 years we were
And-
together
Hey, but
before
we can
that.
always say good things come to those
Yes.
who wait.
Wait.
And then
That's
Lauren,
what
what
they
did,
tell
what
me.
did you say? Like right before I proposed to you, how many weeks was it? Like 2 weeks
2
before?
weeks before we got engaged, I had a massive breakdown, told Noah we probably should just break up.
And
Oh, wow.
that was the same day I paid off the engagement ring. The same day.
Wow.
So I had to stick it out
Lauren,
for 2
that
weeks.
timing.
And I had to be patient and bite my tongue that day because I was not happy. I was like, she is really losing it. And I just paid off this ring that I've been working months off to pay off. And I was not happy with her. And then I said, hey, babe, you just got to be patient. And
Oh,
what was your
gosh.
response to that?
I go, if one more person tells me to be patient, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to kill him.
Oh, yeah.
We had been
Unfiltered.
Hey,
dating.
that's a serious
Unfiltered.
chiropractic adjustment
Yeah.
there.
Unfiltered
Watch out
right
getting
there.
on that table.
But I tell people all the time, we were together for 6 years before he gave me a ring. So we've been together. We were married for 3 now. So this year's 9 years for us. And a lot of our friends are like just getting married, having kids in that first year. And for us, I'm like, you guys are fighting with things that like we're not even dealing with
That's
anymore.
good.
And I mean,
That's
we were
good.
working together while dating,
Yeah.
while engaged. And then when we did get married, like the whole clinic celebrated.
Yeah.
It was
really
so fun. It was so fun, but we learned a lot. And I think patience is one of
Now
those
that
things.
leads us to our next question we want to ask you. And you can do it either way you want.
Okay.
What are the top 3 benefits to your working so literally close together?
Mhm.
And what would you say is your greatest challenge?
Greatest challenges for sure turning work brain off at home.
Oh, yeah.
Say that again. Say it loud.
Turning work brain off while at work or while at home. Like when we get home, we
Mhm.
got it. We have to set up boundaries around work and around home,
That's good.
Mhm.
Wow.
and how to not be a 24-hour worker, and also like even learning how to date.
And to not be business partners. We want to
Yeah.
be married and
Oh,
one.
don't go there too
Oh, my
much.
goodness,
We
I
got
love
that.
that.
That's one of our big questions.
But I
Yeah.
love that because oftentimes we will seek to be business partners that just happen to be married. But say that again for the people in the back.
It's no, I don't want to be your business partner all the time. I want to be your wife sometimes too.
Yes.
Oh,
And then
my
it's a
goodness.
privilege that we get to be business partners.
Yeah.
Oh, they use
But-
that word. It's a privilege.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But to say too, like one of my greatest things that I love when we get to like work together is that I get to bounce ideas off of him and he gets to bounce ideas off of me. And then when we get home, sometimes I'm like, hey, that was such a great conversation I had with so and so. And he knows that person and we're able to connect about that person.
Wow.
Then we're able to pray about it and love on those people just the same next time when he sees them.
Yeah, and as a couple, if we want to be community builders, that's probably our number 2 thing is we get to literally build our community together every day.
Mhm.
Oh, y'all making me
See-
feel better about this life that we having to do together, babe. We're working together all the time.
And then the last thing is I definitely get a hit on my coworker every day, and it's okay because we're married.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I never got to talk to HR because it's okay.
If I need a little snuggle in the middle of the day, I can just go up and give him a hug, and that's so
Hey,
nice.
And who gets to say that unless
Now
we get to
that's
work
some
together?
benefits,
That's good.
Jack.
Yeah,
That's
y'all,
some
it was
business.
so funny. I had a patient come up to me one time, and he goes, "Y'all were dating?" Man, I was worried about you because I was like, if this guy's got a girl, he's been flirting with that girl a lot. And this is right when we got engaged. And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, like for sure we're dating, we're engaged. This is my only person. And he's like, ooh, because that girl would have been so mad at you.
But
Yeah.
also, like while we were dating, well, a couple patients were like, "Why are Noah and Lauren getting married on the same day? Like that's weird." And like one of my front desk girls was like, "They're marrying each other." And so like I mean, yes, we
Oh,
had some
man.
like not boundaries, but then we also had some really great boundaries with some
Like, they had
patients
no
that they had
idea.
no idea we were even dating.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yep.
because your
Now-
professionalism was amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, we do love the benefits. That's pretty awesome.
I love that.
So, working with you means I get to flirt and play.
I know,
with you.
babe.
Oh.
Ooh.
So,
gosh.
but
Ooh.
but we don't want to sell a rose garden to people, guys.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
no.
What about the challenges?
We are really good at conflict resolution because I am spicy and I am feisty and I am emotional and I'm typically on a roller coaster most of my days. And so Noah and I had to learn to conflict resolution really quick because when you got in those fights midday, that's not very fun.
Yeah, and like we talked.
Uh-oh. Okay, keep going.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, it's learning how to flip that switch of work brain and husband brain,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
And how do you do that?
it
Mm-hmm.
by making mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
by
Ah.
having a disgruntled wife because I'm working too much, and then she lets me know it very gracefully.
Very gracefully, always gracefully.
Hey,
I love how you threw that in very
so
gracefully.
how do y'all
Uh-huh.
work the difference from speaking to my spouse or speaking to my colleague?
You know, that's a great question. To be honest, we're still learning.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
we are still learning, and we're getting better at it.
We actually set up appropriate times during the weekend and during the week. So every Sunday after church, we go home and we have a meal as husband and wife. And then after our we eat breakfast, then we sit down with our planners and we discuss the week ahead of us for one, and then we discuss all the patients that we saw the week prior and talk about what kind of goals we want for them and lay out a plan for them. So we have our business meetings on Sunday and then we also have our team meeting with our staff on Tuesdays. So we set up appropriate times to talk with each other about business, but then also we can be husband and wife at home too.
So it
Yeah.
doesn't just happen.
Right.
So
This
it
takes planning.
Oh
Yes,
yeah. Oh yeah.
intentionality.
Yeah.
and very intentional. And then after we're done with that Sunday meeting, now we can go be husband and wife,
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
right? Because it's like, okay, do you want to go for a walk today? Do you want to go to the vineyard? Do you want to just sit on the couch and watch a movie? Like whatever we need to do.
It's just offloading what you already have in your brain on Sunday scaries to get ready for the week. You're offloading that right away with him or my spouse so that he can be ready and I can be ready to actually give each other intentional time for Sunday night.
Yep.
I
Wow,
am loving this
wow,
because that's
wow.
helping to take the fear out of it.
Yeah.
Because people think again, like we started to say, oh no, I can, live with them. I can't work with them. But when we see that it's a common goal and that we get to flirt with our spouses and we get to do this life together, meet those goals and objectives together, and the planning that it takes with it to be intentional about that. That's just like so powerful.
Yeah. And the things that really help us to stay on track with that is like Wednesday night date night. We go get cheap Mexican food on Wednesday nights. And if we start to like say, oh, we're just tired, we're gonna go home and eat or go do this, like, no, that then becomes our home life and work life just blending together again. Like we need certain pit stops
Mm-hmm.
and
It's good.
blockades
Schedule
to
pit
help
stops.
our brain transition. And even the gym, we go to the same gym. However, we go at different times. So if I go at noon, then I can work out with my boys. And when she goes in the morning, she can work out with her mom friends. And then that also helps create a little bit of diversity in our schedule. So we're literally not always together.
Yeah, but we enjoy the same things.
Yes, and we can do that at different times.
Wait a minute now. Are you telling me there is no sliding felt because she wants to be with the girls at a certain time and you want to be with the boys at a certain?
You know, I've got the world's best employee, self proclaimed, right?
That's me. That's me. That's me. I'm the best.
But we just figured out like, hey, Lauren's going to operate really well if she comes in at 10 a.m. and I open the clinic at 8.
Mm-hmm.
So I work for 2 hours as a sole practitioner, and then my teammate comes in at 10.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really fun, and I actually look forward to that. But it's because that 8:30 class with the moms really fills her cup.
Yeah.
Good.
And then
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really fills her cup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then at noon, like he gets out of the clinic and he gets to go, and I get to go have lunch by myself or go get lunch for us. And he gets to go to the gym with his guy friends and he gets to just be a boy. And girls, let me tell you, your men need to be boys with the boys.
Yes, they
Oh,
do.
look
Yes.
out.
We celebrate that.
Yes.
So they're saying it's healthy to be together, but it can be healthy to be apart too,
Mm-hmm.
because you get different things from
Yeah.
those different times. And so, how do y'all manage? I'm gonna ask you first, Lauren. Then I'm gonna ask you, Noah.
And can I ask them before you do that, how important is communication in making all of this work?
I would say that communication is 100% key. And like Noah and I do not text. So that's the biggest thing. And I think with this
Oh.
generation coming
Yeah.
up, like let's not be texting our spouse. Like if I need to ask Noah something, I call him, we have a conversation over the phone.
Uh-oh.
I don't have a misconception of his okay or his period. It's just, hey, let's have a conversation over the phone,
I love it.
where we're at, and then we move on.
That's
Or face to
practical.
face.
Like,
Or
that's
face
very
to
if
face.
the devil wants to mess with our relationship through communication, when we talk over the phone, it's only the tone of our voice that we have to be like, hey, were you really mad there? Versus like, what did you mean by this emoji? Or what did you
Yeah.
mean by saying it only okay or yes? And
Oh, y'all need
Yeah.
to
And it-
hear
and
that
then
in
it-
this texting age. It
Mhm.
really is still okay to call.
Yeah.
yes.
And have a face-to-face
Yes.
Yeah.
conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's time in between a text message that you have for your mind to run.
Mm-hmm.
And it could run the right way or it could go and turn and run the wrong way.
Yeah.
So you guys been married how long?
Just about 3 years.
And
Yeah.
they have learned techniques and skills, and our favorite word, tools,
Yes.
to help prevent things from getting out of whack with
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's good.
But
oh,
it takes a
I'm loving
lot of work. Like we have to be intentional
that.
with
Do
it.
the work.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
we're not, game over.
See, a lot of people would say, "Oh, you knew you ain't got to work." What we say is, if you put the practices in place
Yes.
now,
Mhm.
they'll carry you into the future, and you're creating a pattern of longevity.
Yeah.
So the question I have for you is, how do you keep a disagreement at work from coming home, and how do you keep a disagreement at home from coming to work?
Spill the tea. Spill the tea. Yes.
A disagreement at work, staying at work. Oh gosh, you're gonna make me tell a story. You're looking at me. This is a
mean,
story.
go for
Okay,
it.
okay.
Leap of faith.
So no, this is like the most like I hate public embarrassment. Okay, so like we're just gonna start there. So no one knows this about me. And so one day we were at the clinic and we saw a lot of people. We were busy. Noah was working on something, and I was like, "Bro, I need your help." But instead of saying, "Hey, hun, will you come and help me?" I said, "Noah Dane, get out here." In front of patients.
That's my middle name.
And that's his middle name. And I
And
like
you know we're serious when we call your
Oh,
middle name.
I-
oh,
my
yes.
parents
yes.
got like if I'm in trouble with my parents or like
my-
my sibling,
and
middle
like
name.
I couldn't catch the words coming
Before
out
they
of
got
my
out.
mouth fast enough. And he came out of the office and he gave me this look, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Lord help me."
Wow.
He's the only one that can help you in that moment.
Yes. And so he helped me with a couple patients. And then I was sitting in the office and he walks in, and it's making me hot even thinking about it. Because he walks in and he shuts the door, and I'm like, oh crap. And so I'm like, I am so like I don't apologize. I'm not very good at it. But I like looked over at him and I'm like, babe, I am so sorry. And he's like, stop. We are going to address this conversation right now. You ever say that again and disrespect me in our place of work again like that, I will leave, and you can have the rest of the day by yourself to think about your actions.
And that is like devastating when you're in a clinic because now you're like double workload. Oh no, people are relying on me.
I'm really
I'm gonna be
sorry.
so behind. What do I do?
And I just looked at him and I said, "Hun, I am so sorry." And like he says, "I forgive you." And like that's a big thing in our relationship. I
Mhm.
told him, "Hey, he told me and I told him, when we started dating, like we aren't going to bring after we say I'm sorry and I forgive you, like we don't bring it back up. Like it's forgiven. It's as far as east as it is west.
We're not collecting
That's
stamps.
We're
good.
not collecting
Yes.
stamps. We're not going to bring this out in the next conversation."
Wow.
And so like when he said that, I was like, "Oh, praise God, we're not gonna have to talk about that again." Like, whew, that one went quick. So that's how we deal with it right away. Is we deal with it right away. Like we'll have it in us. We'll get what we need to get done,
Mhm.
but then a closed door. Me and him will deal with what we need to deal
Oh,
with.
I love that in
Yes.
such a respectful
Yes.
way
Yeah.
Oh,
of saying, but
man.
we're going to handle this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then we're done.
and we
Yeah.
handled it at work
Mm-hmm.
in
That's
the
where it
moment.
occurred.
And
Yes.
I know in certain situations you need time to think about but in that moment it's like, nope, we're just gonna say I
But you
forgive
finished doing your job.
you.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
Yeah.
finished doing what you needed to
exactly.
do. And when you had space, you dealt with it. Guys, We should be like Miyagi and Grasshopper right now. We could sit at their feet and learn a couple of things.
Absolutely. Regardless of how long you've been married or how few years, these nuggets are for every stage of your life. So let's finish with the story.
Yeah.
So, how was home after that?
Oh, home was
I don't
actually
even
good.
remember it.
Yeah,
Probably
home's
good.
good.
I don't know.
So, yeah, I think you asked, how do we keep home from coming to work?
Yeah, because some things that happen in the home
Can meet you at work.
can meet you at work big
So,
time.
I think the
I
word
don't
to
know.
that.
I think I'm really good at
Yeah, you're
doing the
perfect for
home
sure.
life.
Of course you are.
Hey, you better agree with her, no?
Yes, world's best employee. No, so
And remind me to come back to that last statement you made. That's on our list.
yes. So keeping home from work, we ran into that actually going from our first story that we introed with the engagement, her wanting to be engaged, and the 2 week time in between me paying off the ring, her having her little sad day, and then coming back to it. The tension was high at work, but this is what we realized is one, it's a privilege to have a job. What is my role? You always have to stop and say, what is my role at home? What is my role at work? And so it's my privilege to serve patients well. And if we're going to be focused on our patients' health, we need to know that whatever that thing at home is, we just have to put it on the back burner.
Yeah, patients come
Right?
first in our office.
And women sometimes are not good at compartmentalizing. But Lauren, you've had to do some of that.
Well, I've had to learn that, right? Because my patient in front of me, they could be having the world's worst day, or they're going to tell me something about their day that like I need to be willing and able and open to listen to. And I can't be focused on what we're talking about or me cussing Noah out in the other room. I need to be able to focus on what we're talking about right there with that patient.
Yeah. And so like 1 John 2:6 says, whoever claims to live in him, walk as Jesus did. Right.
Yes.
And I don't want to like Bible beat or Jesus juke on this at all. But the reality is Jesus going to be like, hey, sorry, you're not worth my time because I've got this whole world to worry about. So for us, when we're with the patients, like, no, you're worth my time. And I remind myself even, and Lauren does too, of, hey, we know this individual is paying and investing. And we also pay and invest for things. And we understand what a budget is because we still have one, and we understand what school debt's like, and we understand. And so you just have to stop, bring yourself back to reality and say, hey, that home thing, we're going to take care of. But this work thing, we need to serve these people well. And typically that lowers the tension too, so that we're not perseverating on that argument or that tension on a relationship, so that we can even solve it better when we get home.
Oh my goodness, the maturity that it takes to operate in that fashion.
And it's hard. Like,
Yeah.
please
And
understand,
nobody
this
says
is not
it's
easy.
but you still got to do it.
Yeah, like
it's
it
doable.
takes patience and discipline, and it's hard.
And sometimes I want to like vent with my patients and be like, guess what Noah did today? And like, that's just not appropriate. They didn't come to listen to us do that. They didn't come to like get in the middle of our relationship. They want to see the happy. Like, we'll tell them about couples counseling and we'll make jokes and we'll have fun. But like, I don't need to be disrespecting my husband with other people.
Yeah, and I mean, it's probably because we've done these things.
Yeah.
But that conviction is real hard after you do it.
I am going to come back to that thing I said a minute ago, but I do want to ask this question. So, roles as spouses and colleagues. I've heard you say a couple of times she's your best employee.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like you would carry the boss role and Lauren.
Yeah.
So,
See? You're the boss.
She said, yes, do tell.
So talk to us about that dynamic.
World's best employee. Please tell us why.
So I would say that I work harder than most people. So I'm world's best employee. When I'm in the office, I'm going to do the best. I'm going to serve the best. I'm going to love the best. I'm going to do the most work. And so I always say I'm world's best employee. But also, like, we own the businesses together, but at the end of the day, like, we own the business together, and we're creating and building new businesses right now. And I'm sure a couple of those businesses will have me more as the CEO. But in our Boro Chiropractic, Noah is more of the CEO, where he is in charge.
What kind of challenges that produce for you there, Lauren? He the guy in charge.
No, it's kind of nice. I enjoy it because it's like the pressure's off. So like,
That is beautiful.
so I can come into the clinic and I can just be me, and I can show up at what time I want, and I can just enjoy being with the patients. And sometimes Noah just gets the burden of doing more work at night, or he gets the more responsibility, work with the phone calls, with calling people back, with like all the different accounting. And I just like, I get to just assist him in that. So Boro
Oh my
Chiropractic is,
God.
I'm the assistant, I would say, but I am still world's best employee to the CEO.
She's like,
So-
let's not forget that.
Let's not forget.
And part of it comes from when we first came down here. So how it worked is Lauren came down first, opened
Mhm.
up this first clinic. We didn't own it, but we opened and ran it. So she worked in that clinic for about 9 months by herself, and then I
Yeah.
came down. And it was supposed to be a 50-50 like managerial role split. However, the owner of that clinic viewed Lauren as more of like the CEO, right?
And I think they
And
just put
so-
so much pressure on me, and it just wasn't allowing me to be as successful as I wanted to be. And so now when I have a little bit more freedom to do what I want to do without the pressure of being a CEO, it takes that just feeling or that burden off me.
Yeah, and it taught me even before we were married, how do I serve this lady? How do I serve now my wife? And I had a patient once. He looked at me and goes, "It's pretty obvious your wife wears the pants in the relationship." And I go, "Oh, that's
Rude.
really interesting." And I used an analogy. I go, "Hey, you got a fence in your yard?" And he's like, "Yeah." I go, "Well, what's it there for?" He's like, "Well, to keep the dog from running away and to keep the kids in the yard." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a boundary. This clinic is my wife's yard. She can do what she needs to do here. I let her run free, and I'm learning my role of how to support, and I
Mhm.
would lead more on like a staff management side, and she
Yeah.
would lead more in a upfront role. And I was just really good at doing behind the scene things
Yeah.
there. But
That
she
is
had
so
the
good.
freedom to thrive because
Yes.
that fence was up. That boundary was
Wow.
there because outside of that, then she would get overstressed
Mhm.
or overwhelmed or, maybe a weakness instead of a strength would come out, just like
Mhm.
anybody,
Yes, absolutely.
right?
And I tell people, just because we're on a married podcast, this is also very helpful. But I'll say maybe it looks like I wear the pants, but he controls the zipper. So
Oh, look
Yes.
out
I mean,
now.
here we are.
Yes. But like,
Oh, no, I love that.
That's good. That's good, Lauren.
so now the roles are just, they flip. When I was able to open up
Mhm.
Burrow, I
Yeah.
was there alone for a while. And Lauren even said to a patient, she goes, "Man, I thought I understood what Noah did until I came here and worked here for a few months. And now I get it in a whole different light."
Yeah.
And that's just, we learned different roles. And then that prepared us really, really well for marriage.
Awesome, awesome. Because see, Cheryl and I, that's why this speaking with you is so
Yes.
vital for us.
Mhm.
Because Cheryl's the senior pastor.
Mhm.
I came in to support a work she had been doing 12 years without me.
Yeah.
But how do I come in and support what she's doing? Honor her place. She's got the boundaries. And I tell everyone when I get up, this is my pastor.
Mhm.
And what she
But
says
I'm her
goes.
husband. He said, don't get that confused.
Don't get that confused. I have no threat with being her
Right.
husband.
Yeah.
And to know how to function, and that's why I was going to that question as the boss, knowing how to roll in and roll out of wife, husband, spouse, and CEO employee becomes important.
Because
Bec-
we're still co-leaders.
We're
That we
co-leaders.
work in that together so
Yeah.
that when you're in your area and your construction and your business, then I come in because I'm only a graduate from HGTV. And I think I know a little bit. So that I come in and say that that's not my role. My role is then to support
Yeah.
so that everybody understands their role and you get a chance. I love that you said to operate in each one depending on what the situation is or what the timing is. And when we can do that, it increases our chances of working together and being more productive.
Yeah, and staying in your lane. Like God gave me
Yes.
certain gifts and he gave Noah certain gifts. And I want to make sure I'm thriving in my lane
Mhm.
while letting him thrive in his lane so that we can both get to the accomplished mission or
It's
goal
a
together.
win-win.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I gave the example earlier. Lauren said, "Hey, Noah, I'll only come and work with you if I can come in at 10 a.m." Right?
Amen.
So not only am I like actually supporting my wife though in that because she needed to get back to the gym to see her community at that 8:30 class, I'm supporting technically an employee for her own mental health and physical health. So then
Wow.
when they show up, man, they are ready
You
to
get
rock
the
and
best
roll.
version of her
Yes.
showing up for you.
I mean,
that's
even our front desk
good.
staff will say, "Hey, it's quiet around here." And our patients will be like, "Yeah, it is quiet." And they'll be like, "Well, it's because Lauren's not here yet."
Oh,
So I bring
100%
the
accurate.
party
The
when I'm
party
100%
starts at
accurate.
10.
It starts at 10 when I get there.
Like the culture is not complete without Lauren at the clinic.
Oh, say that
Aw.
again.
You know,
Yes.
she like the culture's not complete until she shows up.
Yeah.
She plays a role, a very important role in the clinic, and it just the volume gets turned up at 10 a.m.
Yep.
That's it.
I know your feeling,
this.
brother. Because when she steps
We
in, the
turn up the volume,
Yeah.
don't we? Absolutely.
here's
but
the
you all
thing.
are making working together so attractive.
You
Because
are.
people shy away from it, or it's fear. I don't think I can do that. But I mean, you all are living proof that you can do it and do it well.
So, what are 3 things you guys would suggest to others if they were considering or exploring working together? What would you tell them to either be mindful of or to give themselves to make that successful?
I'm going to start with 1 and then you can go with 2 and then we'll see what we find for 3. But 1 I would say right away is you need to see a couples counselor together. Like you need to learn more about yourself and more about your spouse.
Wow.
Like Noah and I have taken the Enneagram test. We've read books on that. We've taken a
Wow.
temperament test. We've learned more
Also,
about
you
that.
didn't just leave it to chance that
No.
this other person.
And so
No.
we've learned so much about each other and how each other operates so that when we step into working together, it's like, oh, okay, Noah likes to be calm, cool, and collective, logical. I like to be a little bit more expressive and loud and outgoing, and I'm typically all over the place.
Emotional, yeah.
And so like he's the stable to my crazy and I'm the crazy to his stable. And so like now we know that about each other so we can allow each other to grow in our seasons.
That's key right there. Because oftentimes I think we'll look at we'll find the building, we do the finances, we all of that, but we don't take time to say, okay, what is this really going to look like?
When we're in the
Feel
same
like?
space together.
Yeah.
How am I going to be the calm to your crazy and the crazy to your all of that?
And
we don't
not
take
look
time
at
to
it with
invest in that.
disdain or contempt.
Right.
So
And
that's
also, too,
smart.
when you're doing it with a couples counselor, you're doing it with a team of people who are on your team
Yes.
and saying, hey, like, you're going to be okay, but this is how Lauren operates and this is how Noah operates. And you can do that in a safe environment.
Wow.
That's excellent.
Wow. That's a
Wow.
great
I would
number
not have thought
one.
of that. Yes, I would
That was
not
good.
have. That was
I can't
very
top
good.
it.
Well, you have number 2, so you
I
better
do
think
have
of
number
something.
2. I think the second thing is you got to just stop and look at the most basic thing. Do you actually like being physically around your spouse all the time?
It's
Like,
huge.
And there's nothing wrong if you're
Wrong
the
with
couple
not.
that's not
Right.
physically around each other all the time. Like
And we
everybody's
hear that.
different. Yeah.
People will say, I can't believe you guys spend that much time together. And I'm like, yeah, but I get to hang out with Dr. Noah all day and then I get to hang out with my husband, Noah, at home.
Yeah, but like if you're
It
not
doesn't work for some.
but if you're not that person,
and
like
you got to be honest enough
you-
to say that.
That's
Yeah.
key.
yeah, exactly. You cannot make yourself be that person. Like you
No.
can't. If you're already thriving in your marriage and you are people that are okay being apart, there's probably a reason you're thriving.
Yes. You are a part.
Right?
Absolutely. Because it is not for everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But if you are considering it, they are living proof that you can
Yes.
literally do life
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
that's good.
And number 3 for me is like, just have fun.
Yes.
we
yes.
We've left that, haven't we?
We have. It's like if you get your mind wrapped around like I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. It's like there's always gonna be more I need to do this. But like when you look back and you say, hey, like I gotta work my whole life with my spouse and we had so much fun while we did it. We influenced so many people's lives. We gotta pray together. We gotta
You
love
know
together.
Who,
like-
when he mentions somebody, you know who they
Yeah.
are.
And it's just
Yes.
like our family has become our clinic. And those people that are most of our patients showed up for our wedding and we invited them to our wedding and they're still part of our life. And so to think that we would do all of this just for a paycheck is just not sustainable. So you have to have fun.
Yeah.
And you all do that. We go in, we all have a good time. And that's the thing I love about even our relationship. We have fun. People say, it seems like you all have been together forever. I was like, I ain't know him. But
Yes.
But then she
But
got
we
to
got-
know
I know,
me.
right?
And there wasn't anything she didn't like.
And we have so much fun. So I'm glad you brought that. I don't want people to leave out
Yeah.
the fun, to enjoy your life. And you can be productive and impactful and have fun all at the same time.
You gotta identify in your life what are the fun suckers, right?
Yeah.
And so I can go home and be frustrated because Lauren did something at the clinic and it made my day hard. But it's like, no, then I'm sucking the fun out of the privilege and joy it is to work with my spouse.
Something we are working on, though, if you want to know a little bit of insight of what we're actually working on, is being conditioned. Like, we have gotten into a habit of being conditional with each other. Like, hey, I did the dishes. What did you do? Or, hey, I did the laundry today. What did you do? And so we've been trying to learn a lot about that over the last couple months. That's been our big thing,
Wow.
so that we can get home, because we're both like, hey, we work full time. We're
Yes.
running a business together. We're running. Who let the dog out? Who fed the dog? Who did the laundry?
I
Right.
served you at work
Did
today,
you wipe the floors?
so
Like,
you can
who's
serve me at
cleaning the
home.
baseboard? Like, it's just like those things still have to get done, and that
Mhm.
can't just be a woman's job, and it can't just be a man's job. It has to be both of our
Us,
jobs to
yeah.
serve each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, serve each other.
And we've talked about that before in other podcasts, that it makes room for a us time.
Yeah.
So when everybody carries the load, so it really isn't nowadays kind of like that's your job and that's my job, but it's everybody's job. And
Yeah.
when we do that, it keeps us healthy, it keeps us good, it keeps us laughing,
Yeah.
it keeps us having the adequate time that we need for each other, and keeps us in a good headspace.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
I
Lord,
love
did you
that.
have another number 3, or are you gonna jump on board
No,
with
not
the fun?
fun is for sure the number 3. It's perfect.
I got one last thing for you guys. As we work with our spouse, how does friendship play into it?
Are you saying friendship with each other?
Yes.
I think we have a lot of fun together.
I mean, I'm gonna marry my best friend.
Yeah, I would say, like, I always hated when people said that when they were like, when you're dating, like, oh, I'm gonna marry my best friend. It's like, you've known him for 6 months. How is he your best friend? Like, that makes no sense to me. But when we got married, we were dating for 6 years. Like, I knew that when I walked down the aisle and Noah and I said our vows to each other, I was like, I know you. I know you when you're stressed. I know you when you're mad. I know you when you're happy. I know when you're goofy. I know when you are a boy. I know when you are a man. Like, I know everything about you, and I absolutely love everything about you. And that is where that
Mm.
friendship takes place, because love is not just an emotion that you get to like throw around.
Right.
It is a choice every day. There are days where I'm like, I want to choke you, but I also love you.
I want to hug you
I
too.
want to hug you at the same time, and I don't get it.
I wanna
Hormones.
choke you and then bring you back
Yes.
into your little savior.
Yes.
But like, if we didn't have the friendship that we have, and like our best friends, we are best friends, like our marriage would not work, I don't think.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I know she's my best friend and she loves me because there's days where she's like, I don't even want to look at you, but you can't leave because I still want you around.
Yeah.
Like,
That's when you're friends.
that's when
Yes.
I know, like, all right, we were made for each other. Like,
And
we're
you can
this
be
thick and
just so
thin.
truthful to each other.
Yeah.
Like, there's times I can look at him and I'm like, I really don't like you right now, but it's okay. I still love you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
That was last night, wasn't it?
When I said to you, I don't
Yeah.
like you,
Yeah.
but I love you though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't give her away. So,
Oh.
yeah, but you
And
know
we're
what?
I
still
never
here on the
struggle with
podcast
that.
together
And
today.
we're still on the podcast because it doesn't require you to like each other all
Yeah.
the time, but you have a commitment and a long-term covenant that you're not going to let little small things
Right.
get in the way of. And she said that today. I say, well, what do you think about what we was talking about last night? She said, I decided we got too many other things
Mhm.
that are more important. That is not a big deal. It's not anywhere near a deal breaker where we're concerned. And we've been great all
Mhm. I
through.
told him, bring it in. Mwah. Bring it in.
But it's the emotion. Like, in the moment, I got to take out the emotion. And
Yes.
so, like, giving me 24 hours to calm down, like, I can look at him and say, I'm sorry, even though it's so
Wow.
hard for
Yes.
me. He's a lot better at saying I'm sorry, but say, hey, like, that wasn't worth what we'd made it last night.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just need a 45-minute shower. So I'm going to do that too.
Yeah,
And then I'm ready to hang out again.
for sure.
Sounds like studying your spouse.
Studying your spouse,
Mhm.
because you take time to learn one another,
Yeah.
and you take time to give each other grace to become best version of themselves.
And two, I think as women, we need to support our men actually doing men things more
Yes.
often. I think
Yes.
Noah's part of a Bible study. I'm part of my own Bible study. And like, he goes and does men's Bible study. I go and do women's Bible study. And like, when he does those things, he comes back ready to
Better.
serve and be better and like love me and like do all the things, where I think when women are a little bit more of like reining in their husbands to say, no, you need to hang out with me, it takes out a lot of the fun of actually going away to come back.
Yes, because you come back
Wow.
full. You
Mm-hmm.
come back, just in a good headspace. And that's why I say working together, literally, or doing life together, literally, does not mean 100% of the time.
Right, right.
But it says that you get your space, I get my space, and then it makes our space that much better.
Or do a hobby together that doesn't involve talking. Like we lead FCA at the college together and we get to be next to each other, but loving on students together. And then come
Wow.
home and be like, oh my gosh, that was so fulfilling because we got to do what we love together, but we weren't having to talk to each other all the time.
And it gave them a good visual of this is how life looks together.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's so fulfilling.
Guys, this is Noah and Lauren Emanuel.
Hey.
And they are doing life together literally.
Literally.
And they have dropped some
Yeah.
amazing nuggets, tools, and wisdom that some of us that have been together 20 and 30 years need to listen to this again.
Yeah.
Because some of the things they put in practice by learning each other, being intentional with one another, can carry us a long, long way. Guys, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence here on the Love Seat podcast. It has been a joy, and we are just thankful beyond measure.
And you'll have to come again. And what it was is what you said the last time. You're fun. You're fun. And you're amazing. And you're family.
Yeah.
And so that's what you get every time that we go to visit you. So thank you for being unapologetically you.
Hey,
The
thanks, guys.
authenticity is what's so attractive, and the professionalism is amazing. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we love you here on the Love Seat, and we want you to join us on all of our social media sites. You know where to find us. We tell you week in, week in and week out. So join us out there. And again, next time on the
Love Seat.
Thank you for joining us here on the Love Seat. We would love to hear from you, so share your thoughts, comments, and topics you'd like for us to discuss, or any questions you may have by texting us at area code 423-401-8972, or go to our website, CherylandStefron.com. Also, check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Cheryl and Stefron. We invite you to join the Love Seat community. It's a place where we, as husbands and wives, can come together to get the tools to help us show up as the best version of ourselves in our marriages. So, know that we love you, believe in you, and look to connect with you next time here on the Love Seat.